Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another CinemaFolks episode. Hope you guys are having a good weekend and having a good just day in general. Yeah, we're here with another episode. I know you guys are probably wondering, the hell are we doing in your car? well, I'm just gonna crank the AC up. How do I say this? Lots of change has been happening in my life lately, and we're gonna be, a lot of things are going on right now, so we're just taking it as it comes, and eventually we'll be in a normal type setup soon. It's just that a lot of things are going on right now, and I just have to be prepared for, some new change that's coming. So just bear with me for the next couple of episodes if we're possibly in the car. So we might be doing this setup from now on, so just bear with me. But that's not going to stop me from doing videos, of course. I still have a lot of things that I want to talk about, and some movies that are coming out that I would love to share my opinion with you guys. And I just like doing videos. It's just nice for me. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to, I have my phone right here with all my notes. Typically, I always do this. I always come up to the videos, and I have like my notes ready. So we're just gonna jump right into the news. And I'm just gonna be chillaxing in my car. So excuse me if the light balance starts to get all weird. So my apologies. Let me turn up my brightness just so I can see what's going on. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So let's just dive right in. And excuse me if on occasion if I drink some water. Just got a sore throat. Not sore throat, but dry throat. But anyways, with all that being said, let's get into the news. So the big story of the week is, of course, Black Superman. I have the notes right here, so just excuse me if you see me looking down here. But so WB has announced that they are moving forward with a Black Superman. And here's the full article from Hollywood Reporter. There's a lot of things actually about this article that we're going to talk about today. Our main focus today is mainly this article, and then there's a couple of things that happened also with other projects, but we'll get to those in due time. But we'll get into this article first because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So, okay. First water break. But from what it sounds like, so from what it sounds like, guys, this might be it for Henry Cavill. So, we're going to read the quotes. So, here we go. So, excuse me if an airplane flies overhead. We're actually near an airport, so excuse me if an airplane flies by and if you actually can't hear me, so my apologies. I believe it's gone now, but anyways. Alright, let's get into the quote. This is from the Hollywood Reporter, so here we go. So, excuse me if this is kind of a long read. This is going to detail other things as well, not just about the Black Superman news, but it kind of spills over into the Black Superman news. So, just excuse me if we just kind of spill over with other topics as well. But anyways, so, quote, with that, a whole new guessing game has kicked off, centered on who will play the Man of Steel, and arguably more pressing, who will direct. Sources say J.J. Abrams who is producing the film, which we'll talk about in a second, because that whole news story is, that whole other bit of that news story is rather interesting to say the least. But he is producing the film. J.J. Abrams is not among the many possibilities being considered. When Warner's announced in February that celebrated artist Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing the screenplay and Abrams is producing, it did not address the matter of helmet. But insiders say Warner's and DC are committed to hiring a black director to tackle what will be the first cinematic incarnation of Superman featuring a black actor, with one source adding that putting Abrams at the helm would be tone deaf. Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second. In a fitting twist, the director search is pitting DC against none other than Marvel. As Warner's looks to fill its Superman vacancy, Marvel is on the hunt for a Blade Helmer and is combing through the same list. But the question will come down to what kind of filmmaker Bad Robot and Warner's want: an up-and-comer who can be backed by Abrams, who knows his way around tentpoles and franchises, or an established filmmaker like a Barry Jenkins or Ryan Coogler. The former list can include Creed 2 Stephen Cable Jr., J.D. Dillard, Regina King, and who got raised for her drama One Night in Miami, and Sokka King, who is popular at Warner's thanks to Best Picture Oscar nominee Judas and the Black Messiah. Some potential directors have met with both studios for both films, even as one agent said the process was phenomenally early. Meanwhile, Coogler may not be a non-starter for other assignments, given that he'll be occupied with Black Panther 2, which releases July 8th, 2022. We'll talk more about that Black Panther stuff later in the show today. Coates isn't expected, the writer, Coates isn't expected to deliver his Superman script until mid-December. Likewise, Marvel isn't rushing with Blade, whose start date was pushed from this September to July 2022. We'll talk about that later. So that the studio can spend time working on the Stacey O.C. Penn script. While the next Superman will likely land with a name director, the star could be a relative unknown. And so that's all coming from the Hollywood Reporter. So, so there's a couple things that you can take away from this article about the Black Superman news. So, well, first thing that we're going to talk about is pretty much the bulk of this story, which is that WB is searching out for Black directors only. And they don't feel that it's in best interest to be pursuing anybody else beyond that. Which let's get into the thing that I mentioned earlier, which was the description of having Abrams at the helm of it being tone deaf. At least for me anyway, I find that to be very slightly premature, and I don't like that approach, because how I see things is this, and this is probably going to be a very hot take, and I don't expect people to agree with this assessment, and that's completely fine. If you have different opinions, I want to hear those opinions, but I just have my own thought processes when it comes to storytelling. Which is this: I think that everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what color, no matter what race, no matter what gender, I don't care who you are. I want to see the best story possible, and my argument has always been, just because you are from a place, and just because you have a lot of experience in a certain place, and just because you are aware of certain elements, does not necessarily mean you can write it well. It just means that you're aware, and that doesn't spell great writing all the time. That just means that you have a lot of experience and you are able to vocalize it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can write it well for a film, or in the veins of a cinematic language. So, that's always been my argument on that. And so, and I'm not saying anything about, anybody of color taking on the Superman project. I actually do hope that, they are now, but I'm just saying, if it was, let's just say if it was super free reign, like anybody can come in and tackle this Black Superman project, I would hope that a Black writer was given the reins, because they A, deserve it, and B, have the credentials and the proven they have the right story for it, basically. I would hope that was the case, but I'm also not naive in saying that, what if they're not a strong writer? If there is someone out there who can write that story better, I'm gonna hire that person, and I don't give a shit what color or what background you have. If you're telling that story the best way possible, then that's all that matters. That's why I think that the description of having J.J. Abrams not direct it being tone deaf, I think is a really ridiculous reason. Because who is to say that J.J. Abrams could not direct a Black Superman movie? Who's to say that he could not do that? Why? Because he's a white guy? No. I think that's ridiculous. I think that anybody can direct any movie that they want to. Steven Spielberg directed fucking Schindler's List and The Color Purple. And you mean to tell me that one of the greatest filmmakers of all time can direct a film about the Holocaust and then another one about a black-centric cast. You're telling me that one of the greatest filmmakers of all time can do that, but yet not one of our more popular filmmakers today. Like, that to me is ridiculous. Because if J.J. Abrams had to what Warner Brothers thinks is the best version of that story possible, and they shot it down because he's a white guy and they think it's quote-unquote tone-deaf to have him direct the film, I think that that's ridiculous. Because this is all also finance. They wanted to know what's going to make them money. And if they believed in that vision was going to make them money, and they just turned it down because he's a white guy, or that he's... it wouldn't look good for their image to... because it's also a media narrative as well. You have to understand that too. This is also a media thing. Because WB doesn't want to see an article where it says, like they're discriminating or this and that, because let's just read into what this whole situation would be if a white director was to direct Black Superman. It's not discriminatory at all. It's really not. Okay, like, I'm going to bring up an example. Look at Falcon and Winter Soldier. What is at the core of that show? What is that show really about? It's about a black man becoming Captain America. Who is at the helm of that project? I can tell you it is not a black person. It's a white female. And then we have WandaVision, which is about a female's grief. And yet a male is directing that show. So I just don't understand the argument as to that you have to be this in order for the product to be good. Now, personally, I don't think those products are great, not because of just who helmed it. There's other elements to it, but I'm not thinking that, a black person would definitely make this better. I mean, they could. They very much could. But I'm not thinking that, it has to be a black person to direct a black movie to make that movie great. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. That doesn't mean really much. So, and a car just flew by, so my apologies. But I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I don't think that you need a black person to make a black movie. I know it sounds very pretentious. I know it sounds very scary to say, but look at the results. Look at Falcon and Winter Soldier. Look at WandaVision. These shows are one of the most popular shows out there right now. And people love these shows. And yet they have no problem with a white female directing a show about a black man becoming Captain America, or a male directing a show about a woman's grief. Like, no one has an issue with that, but yet we have an issue with a white guy directing a Black Superman movie. I never understood that. Because, let me make myself clear again, because I know someone's going to read into what I'm saying, and they're going to think that I'm being absolutely fucking racist, or I'm being this and that. Let me just say it again. I have a very wide range of friends. I have many friends. I have friends who are black. I have friends who are Asian. I have friends who are female. I have friends that are white. I have friends that are Hispanic. I have a wide range of friends. And I have no problem with anybody for racial reasons or anything. I'm not racist, okay? And what I'm basically saying is that I want equal opportunity for everybody. I want everyone to get a legit shot when it comes to pitching their stories. So let's just say I was the CEO at WB. If I were them, I would not make that decision to look for only black directors. Now, I would first search for a black director. That would be my first instinct, is to search for a black director, because they are more familiar with said culture and more, perhaps could have an understanding to such material, or grasp the material in a much more rooted manner that would serve the story more. But if the people that we find that are available are not strong enough, because also you have to remember this, it's about availability. They're not just going to grab, any, because I'm pretty sure they want this project. I'm not sure it looks like that they're fast tracking it, or at least moving forward with it, substantially. So you have to assume that they want their cast and stuff locked down in the next few months, or at least, well, they said his script. Actually, he said his script is what? Did he say his script? isn't expected to deliver the script until mid-December. Okay, so that's not for like a whole year, so never mind. But within that time, you would imagine that. I mean, look, they're gonna find someone great. Don't try to spin my words. They're gonna find someone great to direct this movie. My point is that should we care that that person is black? That's what I'm saying. Should we care that that person is black? Should we care that that person is white? Should we care that that person is Asian? Like, should we really care? You know, should we really care that much? Because if that's what dictates great storytelling, it's just your color, and I don't see that. I just look at the individual and say, hey, this story is fucking amazing because of what you created. Okay, I don't care who you are, where you come from. I just think you made a great story. You know, that's just me. That's all I care about. I care about the story. I care about what you make. I don't care where you come from. And I think that WB should honestly think the same way, because limiting your margins. I'm not saying that the black community is like small. I'm just saying that. I'm saying that you should give everybody else a shot too, and not think that it's tone deaf for to look at other possibilities. What if an Asian comes out and makes the best fucking black Superman script, or a white guy, or a Hispanic, or a British, just like Australians, like anybody I think deserves a fair shot to direct this movie. And I don't think it just has to be a black filmmaker. That's just my argument. I don't think it has to be a black filmmaker, and I think that everybody deserves their chance. I think that everyone deserves a shot. That's just me. Because I'll put it this way. How do I say this? I'm basically saying equal opportunity and legit shots to pitch their stories for everyone. That's me, because I feel like it has to be one or the other, and I don't like that mentality. I think that everybody should be given a fair shot. And if the black writer ends up being the person who is producing the best story possible, then give that person the job. If it's not, then don't put yourself in a position where you're going to lose money. Or potentially lose money because you don't think the quality meets the standard that you're looking for. So I don't know. I think I know someone out there is going to listen to what I'm saying and saying, oh, he's fucking racist. Let me reiterate. I have not slandered. I have not put down anybody in any form of any community. And let me reiterate. I want to hear more voices from the black community, from the LGBTQ community, from the females. I want to hear more from the Hispanic community. I want to hear more from the Asian community. I want to hear more from all of these communities. But I am not going to just see stories that are mediocre. I want to see stories that are great stories that are well written and well rounded enough to be produced into a film. Not just, you don't get a free pass because of this. No, you have to still write a great story. I still need to hear a great story from you. You can't just pass because, of a certain lineage or of a certain place. I don't buy that. I want the best story possible. That's all I care about. And I don't care where you come from. I really don't. I really don't care. I really just want the best story possible. And if it's not the best story possible, there's nothing racist in saying that your story is bad. Because if you have a problem with that, then why are you in the film industry? Why are you in the film industry if you have an issue with somebody saying that your story is bad? It has nothing to do with the fact that you're black. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're Asian or female or whatever. It has nothing to do with that at all. Okay, there are people out there who are like that, and believe me, the industry is filled with people like that, and that's many reasons as to why people like the black community and the LGBTQ community and the females and etc. are having a tough time getting their place in the industry. But we cannot just I'm mainly speaking for myself. If I ever make it into the industry and somehow people throw scripts my way, I am not going to give the okay for a mediocre script. just because somebody is of this and that. I'm not. I'm never going to do that. If I ever do that, I walk away. Because I am never going to allow a mediocre script to see the light of day. Because I think that script can be better. And I'm going to ask that person to do better. And it has nothing to do with their race. Okay? I'm giving you the chance to improve. So I think that that's honestly what I wish Hollywood would do. And just giving equal opportunity and equal chances to everybody. Everybody. I want everybody to have their fair shot. And again, to reiterate, everyone, the black community, the Hispanics, LGBTQs, the females, I want everybody from top to bottom, everyone to have a chance. And whoever they end up picking at the end of the day should be regarded as not racist, not discriminatory, not sexist, not whatever. It's homophobic. It's nothing like that. Okay? It's just who they believe told the best story. And that's how I see things. Is that I think that they shouldn't view this as a tone-deaf situation. Just see who's telling the best story. I think that's just me. But again, I'm not being racist. I'm not. I have a wide range of friends, and I love them all equally. I love them and respect them all equally, and I have nothing against anybody. Okay. I am against mediocre stories. So that's that. I know someone in here is going to think that I'm being racist. I'm not. I'm really not being racist. I'm just saying that I want to see great stories made. And if I were the CEOs there, I would just not limit my margins and just allow everybody to have their shot. And whoever we pick, we think is the best fit for that story. So, that's my thoughts on that. So hopefully my message is made clear, because I said it like 3 or 4 times. I'm not a racist. I am not discriminatory. I'm a fan of telling great stories. And I want to tell great stories. I want the same for other people. And I want everyone to have their chance to tell that great story. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and we're looking at what will make us money as well. And if it happens to be a female, or if it happens to be a Hispanic, if it happens to be a black person, if it happens to be an Asian person, who fucking cares? They're telling the best story possible, and that's all we care about. We care about great stories. We shouldn't care where they come from. So, but anyways, let's move on. That was a big topic. So that was the first point on the Black Superman project. So now let's get into the other side of things with this Black Superman topic, which is that it is a standalone project. So it's not in the DC extended universe, which I know some people are already going to be asking, what is the fate of Henry Cavill? Well, he's clearly not coming back. This is clearly his last time. He's not coming back as Superman. And this Black Superman is going to be their next franchise for Superman. So it's another reboot. And it looks like that, and they are doing Kal-El. They have confirmed that it will be Kal-El. And I believe in the story it said it was going to be set in the 20th century, if I'm not mistaken. The story was at least being pitched to be set in the 20th century, so that will be interesting. But after now going on that little ramble about how I feel about limiting, them thinking J.J. Abrams and the director thing being tone deaf and all that stuff, how do I feel about them doing a Black Superman project? I think it's amazing. I'm really excited to see this Black Superman project. I've heard Black Superman for years, mainly about Michael B. Jordan, potentially being Black Superman, which he commented on, and he said that I think he said that he was being kind of cheek and tongue. He wasn't, or tongue in cheek. He was just saying, like, maybe. We've had conversations in the past, we'll see. I would not be upset if he ended up being Superman, but it sounds like they're going with an unknown actor to be there, because they're mainly having Superman be the selling point for the project. So, but I'm excited for this. I think this is a great idea, because I want to see a new take on Superman, because I think that for the past few films, it's just been the same type of story with Superman. And I want to see a new face. I want to see a new approach to the story. And, to give us a new spin on this character. And showing us a new side of things. And I think that this project has many, many chances to do that. And I'm really excited to see what's his name? Tai-Nehisi Coates. I'm very excited to see what he has cooked up. And obviously who will be our new Superman, who knows, but yeah, this project sounds really, really promising, and I'm very excited to see what they do with it. So it looks like they are moving forward with Black Superman. No Henry Cavill. I am not upset that Henry Cavill is not coming back, because I know a lot of people have been wanting him to come back. I was not a big fan of Henry Cavill's Superman. I thought he was kind of at points he was fine, and then at other points it felt very generic, and I wasn't a huge fan of that Superman. So I'm glad that they are rebooting, and we knew for a while. I mean, I know there are people out there, restore the Snyderverse and shit, and to those people, you continue with your little fight, but WB has made it clear thousands of times, we are moving forward with a new version of all these stories, and if you don't like it, fine. Well, we hope everybody else will. But here's the funny thing about all this, is that people will say that, oh, I want Henry Cavill Superman. I don't like. It's not that he's black. It's just I want Henry Cavill back. But yet, you're still gonna go see this movie, okay? You're still gonna go watch it, all right? Everybody will still come and see the Superman movie. For people who are bitching and complaining online, I mean, you're still gonna go see it. So, nevertheless, though, I know the people who wanted Henry Cavill. I didn't really want him, but there are people who wanted him. But the studio has made it very clear they're moving forward with a new vision for their universe, which is that they're kind of just doing whatever. They're just kind of doing whatever. They want to do a Black Superman, we're going to do Black Superman. We want to do an Elseworld story for Batman, we're going to do an Elseworld story for Batman. We're going to do some other projects, actually, which we'll talk about later, but they're just kind of just doing whatever at this point. There's no consistency, which to a lot of people, they don't really like. They want that consistency, like Marvel does, where they have all their stuff planned out. To which I say, for what DC is doing, I think it's great. I like this idea of doing standalone stories and not having to worry about the last 20 plus films to grasp onto this particular thread or this particular idea. I'm glad that I don't have to watch or remember like 15 movies to have an emotional pull on something. I'm glad that that's the case for DC, where we just watch the movie and as is, and we generate the responses that we get from that, and not have to rely on information from like 10 or 15 years of movies. So I think this whole idea is great, and I'm very excited to see how it pans out. But as I said, just to reiterate one more time, everybody should be given equal opportunity for every project, no matter what the face of the project is going to be. Everybody should be getting a shot to do this Black Superman movie. Everybody. And whoever does the best job writing it should get the job. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Alright, but moving away from Black Superman, let's get into the other topics. In regards to this article, because there was something else that was mentioned, and talking about Marvel now. Blade apparently is going to be filming next year, and it looks like they might be getting a potential filmmaker, some decent filmmakers actually, to potentially helm the project. Now, we don't necessarily know which directors they might go with, but we have a list, but it's funny enough because that list that they put out there's one filmmaker that I think would actually be great for both projects. So the list was, what was it? Stephen Cable Jr., J.D. Dillard, Regina King, which I would not be upset with, and Sokka King. To be honest with you, Sokka King would be great for both projects, but he's not going to be doing both. I personally would want Sokka King for the Black Superman project. I think he'd be a great fit. I really enjoyed Judas and the Black Messiah, so I would really like him to tackle Black Superman. As for Blade, stylistically, I mean, it's going to be like more or less the formula that Marvel's doing, but I would say Stephen Cable Jr. is probably not a choice on this, because I believe he's working on the next Transformers film, so I think he has his hands occupied on that. And we're going to talk more about that later, but yeah, so I don't think that's a possibility. J.D. Dillard, I believe he's director of Slate. I think it was like a superhero film. You guys can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it was a superhero film. And I'm not sure if he'll come in. Regina King is a possibility for Blade. I think that's definitely a possibility. And yeah, it's in Sokka King. They also said that about Ryan Coogler, but Ryan Coogler is not. I don't think he's going to be touching Blade. I think Black Panther 2 is probably his last project with Marvel. I think that's probably going to be it for him. But yeah, so Blade was originally supposed to start filming this year in September, but now it got pushed all the way back to July of 2022 because apparently the studio wants more time spent on the script. So yeah, I'm excited for Blade. I mean, Blade is probably, besides Moon Knight, which I would probably say is my most anticipated thing from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Blade would probably be right behind it, because I'm really excited to see Mahershala Ali as Blade. I think that's a really solid casting, and I'm hoping that this is their introduction to R-rated material, because Blade definitely can be an R-rated property, and I hope that they push for an R rating for Blade. I don't think that's going to be the case though, but I do hope hope that they try, because they're going to introduce Deadpool into the Marvel Cinematic Universe eventually. So, and they said that movie is going to be rated R, Deadpool 3. So I hope that translates to other projects like Blade. So yeah, but they are looking to start filming next year, so that's promising. Now, transitioning back to DC, this was an interesting thing that was let slip on the Black Superman article on the Hollywood Reporter. I want to bring this up. It looks like Joker 2 is still in development? Question mark. Here's the report from the Hollywood Reporter, which was, quote, DC sees its upcoming Flash movie, which began production in April in London, as its way forward in this post-Snyder world, with the inclusion of such characters as Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle, and Michael Keaton's Batman. One thing Flash does is set up DC with a multiverse that allows for many of these incarnations and story universes to coexist and have superheroes interact. So far, every movie and TV show, with the exception of Matt Reeves' Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, set for release in March, HBO Max spin-off Gotham PD, and Joker and its planned sequel will take place in the same universe. So, it sounds like the WB is still at least talking about doing a Joker 2. We heard about news about Joker 2, obviously, when Joker came out. You guys, I think, know my thoughts on Joker at this point, which I think, just to reiterate, I think that the movie is flawed, but I don't think that it's the masterpiece or as amazing as some people make it out to be. I think Joaquin Phoenix was great in the film, but I don't think that it's his best performance. I've seen better out of him, but nevertheless, though, he was great in the film, and I think that was probably the biggest pull from the film is Joaquin Phoenix, and also I think the cinematography was probably some of the best that I saw last year. I think it should have deserved a nomination at that Oscars, and I'm surprised that it didn't get a nomination. But for what Todd Phillips was trying to craft with that film, I think it I think it satisfied enough, but it wasn't the film that I was looking for. So, but when it came to Joker 2, we heard reports that Todd Phillips was in talks with WB about potentially doing Joker 2, because Joker, the first movie, did big business for the company. So obviously they want to. I think it's the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously WB is interested in doing a follow-up to Joker. But it sounded like, at least at the time, that talks broke down, that they didn't want to move forward with a Joker 2. Or at least Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix kind of basically said no. But it looks like, and that could still be the case, but it looks like the studio at least is interested in still doing Joker 2, but it doesn't sound like they're ready to announce it just yet. And here's my thing. So when I heard about this news, my first thought was no. I think that it's silly to do a Joker 2. I think that the story works just well on its own, and to do a follow-up, I think is just, I think that it just doesn't have the backbone or the deserving to have a follow-up. I just don't think it really needs a follow-up, and I still stand by that now. I'm not super against the idea. Like, obviously I'll see the movie, but I'm more against the idea of just forcing out a follow-up to a film that really doesn't need it. Like, I just don't think Joker, this Arthur Fleck, this character, I think this character is done. Because after that, it would just be him just being chaotic for a sequel. It would just be him being the Joker that we all know, or at least becoming more of the Joker that we already know. So I just don't think that there's many other wrinkles that you can really throw at us for a Joker 2. Now the big question obviously is whether or not Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix would return to do this film. I personally don't think so. I don't think that they are going to return. If they are moving forward with Joker 2, I highly doubt that Todd Phillips is going to come back. Let me flip it. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is going to come back. Especially with all the stuff that he went through making Joker, I don't think that he would come back to do a sequel. I think that he's more focused on other things now. I think he's doing some period pieces with Ridley Scott. I heard he's doing a period piece of some kind as his next movie, something along those lines. But yeah, I don't think that he's going to be doing this movie at all. So I think it's probably going to be someone else entirely, because I just don't believe it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix. I just don't think that he wants to do it. But Todd Phillips, I feel like, might be interested. I think he's doing a Hulk Hogan film right now with Chris Hemsworth. So I don't know. I'm not sure how far along that project is, but I just don't think that they're that interested. If anybody, Todd Phillips might be a little interested, and perhaps that's enough for WB to move forward with the sequel. But I highly doubt that Joaquin Phoenix would come back. I don't think that he would be. I think he was maybe interested for a moment, but I don't think now he would do it. I think if you ask him now, he probably would say no. Obviously he's with the company, so we probably would play cheek and tongue and be like, maybe. But deep down, I probably think he probably wouldn't do it. I just don't think that I just think he saw that as a one-time opportunity, and he's not looking to just to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I think that he just wants to keep doing other things, and I completely 100% respect that. So well, now, will they do a Joker 2? Again, I think it all depends on Todd Phillips. I really think that they are waiting for Todd Phillips' approval, or at least are hoping that Todd Phillips will come to do the film, because I don't believe that they're going to do a Joker 2 with other people. Well, actually, they probably might, because when you have the highest grossing R-rated film of all time as a part of your studio, you obviously want to capitalize it with a sequel. So I mean, they very much could just do a sequel like American Psycho, when they did Mila Kunis and the one that everybody loved. No, I mean, they could very much well do that, where it's just just another psychopath. So yeah, my thoughts on it are this: I think that doing a sequel, I think, is silly. I don't want to see a Joker 2. If we do get it, though, I obviously will go see it. But I think that, will it happen? That's the big question. Will it happen? I'm gonna say it's hard to say because we haven't heard anything from it. Ever since Joker came out, we've heard nothing about it. So it feels like at this point like an afterthought. So, because like read the article. I mean, it felt like an afterthought. Like it's like they talk about Robert Pattinson's Batman, they talk about Gotham PD, and then Joker 2. Like it just kind of feels like something in the back burner. So I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because, like I said, I don't think the cast and crew are wanting to do it, and it just sounds like the studio is not. I mean, the studio will do it if one of these people came up and said yes. If Todd Phillips came up and said, "I want to do Joker 2," they'll give them the money and do it right away. But I just don't think that. As funny as it sounds, I just don't think Joker 2 is on their radar right now in terms of one of their big plans. I think they're looking at the future of Robert Pattinson's Batman, and they're looking at the success that's probably going to come with that. Already setting up a TV show, Gotham PD, and with now Black Superman, I think that's their new focus is these new properties, these new incarnations of these heroes to lead them into the future. And I think Joker 2 is probably, right now, it might have been their big, push within the studio, but since, as I said, I probably think Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips just said no, or probably just told them, we're not really that interested in doing it. Then that's probably why, that's probably why that's probably why Joker 2 has not been talked about for so long, because it's just they don't really know what to do with it. Basically, they don't know if they want to pursue a Joker 2 without the creatives that made them all that money to begin with, or just move forward with a Joker 2 with a brand new lead and all this stuff and just see what happens, like American Psycho 2. So it's kind of a mixed response. I don't know. I believe it will not happen without Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix. That's basically where I'm at. If they don't have Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, I think they're not going to do it. But I also would not be surprised at all if they ended up moving forward with this, with a brand new actor and a brand new director attached to it. I really think both possibilities are very much possible. So I can't really say what will happen with Joker 2. I'm leaning more towards that. I think that it's probably not going to happen because they want to make a safer bet with having those creatives on that project. But I would not be surprised if they just move forward with new people. So. But anyways, yeah, that was a long ramble to say we'll see what happens. So, but anyways, let's move forward. So, another thing that came out from the Hollywood Reporter is the Red Sonja reboot. We've heard about this movie back in like 2019. This was supposed to be originally rebooted by Bryan Singer, but production was halted back in 2019 due to obvious reasons. But it looks like they are moving forward without him, obviously, and they have now casted their lead, which is Hannah John-Kamen, and this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, which says, quote, Hannah John-Kamen, who starred as a villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I believe she played Ghost. I think that's her name. And was a lead in series Brave New World. Will star in Millennium's long gestating sword and sorcery feature, Joey Soloway is directing the project and co-write the script with Tashu Huru, the screenwriter who is showrunning and executive producing the upcoming animated Tomb Raider series for Netflix and Legendary. I don't know shit about Red Sonja, so I can't tell you what's gonna happen with this. But first of all, that actress is she's pretty fly. But secondly, though, I think that she did a good job in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I mean, I would be, I'd be interested to see, what she does with this. I'm just more or less, fascinated by the whole, Bryan Singer, thing that happened with it. The fact that it was so close, because it was like, I think it was almost ready to go. I don't think they had like a cast assembled, but they were pretty close. And then, production halted, obviously due to what happened with Bryan Singer. But yeah. So and I believe did they have a Red Sonja film back in the 90s? It was like, it's like some like He-Man thing, right? Like a He-Man knockoff. Is that what Red Sonja is all about? I don't know. I think it was like a He-Man type ripoff. I don't know. But hey, glad that she's getting more opportunities. So, and excited to see what they do. So, speaking of He-Man, let's talk about that He-Man movie. Remember that He-Man movie, that Masters in the Universe film that was supposed to happen years ago? Well, apparently it had another setback because Noah Centineo, who was supposed to be playing their He-Man, has exited the project. This comes from the Wrap, which says Noah Centineo will no longer be playing He-Man / Prince Adam in Sony and Mattel Films' Masters in the Universe. An individual with knowledge of the situation has told the Wrap. A spokesperson for Centineo confirmed that the actor is no longer part of the project, although no further reason was given. I'm pretty sure we'll talk about what the reason more likely is. The Wrap has reached out to Sony regarding the status of the project, given that Centineo joined the film 2 years ago. Now, he also is going to be seen next. If you're wondering what his next project is going to be, he's going to be in Black Adam, which is filming right now. So I believe he's playing Atom Smasher, which he looks jacked. I believe he got himself in some really good shape. Saw some pictures of him, and he looked pretty good. And you would think that, he's also looking that good because of He-Man, and that's probably going to be his next project after Black Adam. Well, that's not the case anymore. So with that, this film is now back to square one again. And I'm going to just say it, unpopular thing to say. I think that there is a good possibility that this is likely not going to happen in general, just to be honest, because to put it in perspective, I have heard stories from podcasts and forums about the assembly of this film, and it just sounds like it's going nowhere. And I'm guessing that's why he decided to leave the project, because it just doesn't sound like they have their shit together on this production. And he'll never say that publicly also. He'll never say out loud, that they're just not knowing what the fuck they're doing. But I believe that's the reason he stepped away, is just that the production has just gone nowhere. And I think that he's just interested in pursuing other things. And lucky enough, he's got Black Adam, so, he's going to get more opportunities soon. But, I just think that he just was like, you know what, this shit's not going anywhere, so let's just hop out. So I would not be surprised if this project just was buried, or picked up by someone else, who knows. But, they're back to square one again, because that was the only thing that they've had right with this project. They've had writers, obviously, and stuff, but this was the only casting news that we heard from this movie, and this news came out like I said, 2 years ago. So from then, we've heard nothing about this project. So I'm going to assume that this project is just dead, or at least is close to death, because now they've lost their lead. So unless they find a new lead soon, which I assumedly, because they haven't gotten all their other casts assembled in the span of the 2 years, I'm going to just assume that people are probably just dodging this project. They probably just think that this production is just, they just don't have their shit together. And that's unfortunate, because I actually think Masters of the Universe could have been an interesting topic to explore, or interesting series to explore in live action, but looks like that's not going to be the case anymore. So, yeah. So I've heard stories about that project for a long time. Like I've heard it back in like 2017. Like I've heard it for years. I've heard that movie just going up and down and being pushed to other studios and being thrown this and that, because it sounds like people just don't know what to do with it, and they just don't know, I think they're afraid of putting out a new IP out there, or at least like a new, thing for audiences to chew at. And they're trying to figure out what their angle is going to be on it too. I've heard people say it's going to be serious. I've heard people say it's going to be very lighthearted. Like I think that they just don't know what they're doing. And I think that the last I heard is that they were doing rewrites, and then Noah was casted. So that was pretty much the last bit I've heard from this movie. Other than that, I mean, it's been kind of, silent. But now we've heard that he's exited the project, so this movie might be dead, guys. I'm just saying. This might be a dead film at this point. But who knows? We might hear in the next few weeks that they might have a new He-Man assembled, but I highly doubt that. Alright, next topic. We've got 3 more topics for today, and then that's pretty much going to be it for today. We talked about a Transformers project earlier today with Stephen Cable Jr. Well, they have a new cast added to the mix, which is Dominique Fishback. She'll be co-starring alongside Anthony Ramos, and this is coming from Deadline. Quote, sources tell Deadline that Fishback is in final negotiations to co-star with Anthony Ramos in a Transformers film for Paramount, E1, and Hasbro that has Stephen Cable Jr. directing. The film is bowing on June 24th, 2022. Darnell Mateer and Josh Peters are writing based off a script by Toby Harold. Skydance is co-financing executive producing, and New Republic Pictures is also a co-financing partner. While Ramos seemed like the front-runner from the beginning, Paramount took their time meeting with a number of actresses for the other lead role. Ramos screen tested with a handful of women, and in the end, Fishback won over everyone involved. The opportunity to work with Ramos comes full circle for the two, who have been close friends for years after working together on a play back in college. So they have a little bit of a connection. So, now, if that name sounds familiar, Dominique Fishback, I believe I'm saying her name right. Dominique. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. I apologize, but she was what was she in? She was in Project Power, which I did not like. I didn't really like her in that movie. And she was in Judas and the Black Messiah, and I actually really liked her in Judas and the Black Messiah. So there's that. And then I want to mention the writers real quick, because the writers of the film have credits which include nothing. So this is their big first gig, because the original screenwriter, Toby Harold, has credits that include King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which I did not hate. I know people really hated that movie. It was a bomb at the box office, but I didn't hate it as much as some other people did. And he also has credits for Army of the Dead, which is coming out soon, and he's also written for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Again, we don't know how this Transformers film is going to go. We don't know if this is a sequel to Bumblebee or not. It sounds like it's not. But hey, more Transformers. Hopefully, more good Transformers movies. But hopefully that's a plus. Hopefully that will, be a good thing. It sounds like they're gearing up to film soon. I mean, it comes out June 24th, 2022, so I assume that they have to start filming very, very soon. So probably around next month, they might have to start filming. So, probably going to hear something then about them filming, more casting news probably. But there you go. Dominique Fishback is going to be in the next Transformers film. We don't know what this is. It sounds like it's an original idea. Hopefully not in the vein of the Bayverse, but more of what Travis Knight did. So, but we'll see. All right. Speaking of filming, Dungeons and Dragons, something that got pushed all the way back to March 3rd, 2023, which was crazy, is filming. They're now filming, which stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, and Reggie John Page. And it's being directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, which, if that name sounds familiar, they're the directors of Game Night. Really did not expect this production just to be starting, since it was delayed so far. It's like, it's about a good 2 years until we see this movie, so I'm pretty shocked that they have, pretty surprised that they have moved forward with production. So I guess they don't want to lose their cast, so I assume, because all those casts are probably got scheduling out elsewhere, so I guess that makes sense. They don't want to lose any of their, stars or anything, but yeah, it is filming, so that is fascinating. All right, and the last topic for today is Marvel related. Marvel put out a video, basically unveiling their full Phase 4 slate. Now, we pretty much know most of the films on here, so nothing, or pretty much all the movies, but just some notable things to talk about. So we got 4 movies coming out this year from Marvel. We got Black Widow coming out July 9th, $30 on Premier Access if you wish to do that. Yeah. And we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings coming out on September 3rd. Eternals. We saw the first footage of Eternals, or at least some first-hand footage of Eternals. I hope it's better. I hope it's better. I hope that it has more style and a lot more distinct ideas, because it looks like another Marvel movie. I hope it looks, different. We'll see. Comes out November 5th. And then to finish out 2021, we have Spider-Man No Way Home. Which, by the way, Andrew Garfield is fucking lying. All the interviews that he is doing right now, you could read right through him, and you can clearly tell that he's lying. So I believe that he's in the movie. I don't buy for a second that he is not in the movie. And I think that interview kind of confirmed it a little bit for me. But anyways, so we're getting 4 films in 2021, and then in 2022 we're getting 4 films again. With the first one being Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness, which I am very excited for. Comes out March 25th, 2022. Then we got Thor: Love and Thunder, which is going to be finishing out its filming very soon, apparently, on May 6th, 2022. And then 2 notable things from this video, which were the reveals of the titles for Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2. So for Black Panther, it's going to be called Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I understand why that's the title, and I understand the personal reasons for why that's called that. I just think it sounds like a video game title. That's just me. It doesn't sound like a film title. It just sounds more like a video game title. But a title doesn't mean that the movie is going to be bad. It's just it's not a great title. I'll just put it that way. But hey, I am still stoked for Black Panther 2. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I wasn't huge on Black Panther, but I've come around to it a little bit, not because of the tragedy that was Chadwick Boseman, but just in general, I think the movie is just better than the first time I saw it. So I'm looking forward to it. That title just sounds like a video game title. And then The Marvels. That's Captain Marvel 2. That's being called The Marvels, which to me that just sounds super generic. The Marvels. That just sounds very generic. Like, it doesn't sound so like Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The Marvels. It just sounds very It's just a very meh title. Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out July 8th, 2022. And then The Marvels comes out November 11th, 2022. So, and then there are 3 more films. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania coming out February 17th, 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is May 5th, 2023. And then they have revealed that Fantastic Four will be a part of the Phase 4 slate. There's no date on it. It's likely going to be late 2023. So, that's probably what's going to happen with that. But there you go. That's the Phase 4 slate. Notably, though, Blade is not dated or a part of the package. So this pretty much confirms to us that Blade is not in Phase 4, but it's probably gonna be the first film in Phase 5. So it sounds like that they're gonna end things with Fantastic Four, with Phase 4. So that's very exciting. But it sounds like Blade is not a part of this this phase, because it doesn't sound like it at all. If it is, they have yet to announce it. So, or it would have been a perfect time to announce it here, but I guess not. But that is pretty much it, guys. We had a long video today. It is, look at that, about an hour of talking about movies today, guys. We talked about a lot of shit. We talked about Black Superman. We talked about Joker 2. We talked about fucking He-Man. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. You guys let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys like this new setup. For now, obviously, we'll have a better setup in the future. And just let me know your thoughts on all these topics. And that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys be safe out there. Wear a mask. Where's my mask? You know what? Hang on. Alright, hang on. Yes, I have it. I thought I didn't bring my mask. I do have my mask. Always wear your mask out there, guys. Be protected. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Always have your hand sanitizer on. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'm going to go out and just eat somewhere and just chill out and just, go have a good day. So, and you guys have a good day too. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.